Hello, everyone. I'm Lori Mullen, and welcome to our next episode of The Next Perfect Step. Today, we thought we'd have a very special channel from Lori, and she's going to explain to us and read her channeled message and her process. Before we start that, Joan is not able to be with us today. We hope she's feeling better and can't wait for her to join us in our next episode. This Thursday is also her birthday, so we're wishing her a very, very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Joan.
So Lori, you want to explain to us how you got started channeling, maybe what channeling is, and I can't wait to hear your beautiful message.
Thank you. Yeah, sure. I guess I never thought of myself as channeling before, but a lot of people are doing it naturally, just, channeling through either music or writing. What happened with me is through Reiki, really. I started doing Reiki sessions. I'm a trained Reiki master teacher, so I love teaching classes, and I also enjoy one-on-one sessions. That's something that's really my passion. But I know that Reiki also starts opening your intuition and those types of abilities. So during a Reiki session once, I had a message come kind of bubbling up, and I'm like, am I supposed to say that? And I felt the impression that yes. So I just let go of my own thoughts and just said the message, and it resonated with the person. So that started happening a little bit more and more. But most recently, I would say a few years ago, I started getting woken up in the middle of the night, and I'm a writer too, so I keep notebooks and pens handy. And I just started, my guides I would start sensing messages coming through. I kind of feel like a collective presence and a very loving presence. Like we have teachers here on earth, but we also have non-physical teachers and guides. So I would feel that collective loving presence, and messages would come in, and an urgency to write it down. So I would get up in the middle of the night, go to my desk, and write down what I was hearing. I would just kind of start writing, and it would just keep flowing through. So that's how it started. And then I heard about Substack. So I started a blog on Substack.com, and it's True You Channeled Writing. And so the first one is called The Tap on the Shoulder, which explains my experience about being woken in the middle of the night. And that's my story. But ever since I was a girl, I do play piano, and I've been able to just let the music flow through me and just play my emotions and my feelings. And I feel like some of that sometimes is a healing experience for myself, and sometimes for other people too, that I've just been able to just relax and kind of let that flow through. But for my writing, I've been enjoying it. And I've also enjoyed, I know Lori and I both enjoy listening to other channels online and reading. I read a lot of channeled books, because I just feel like the messages seem to be all the same. They're all encouraging us and encouraging us to be our fullest, most authentic self. And so I am not a channel that some channels are able to just let the presence come through them and they speak, but I just write it down, and then so I'm going to read what my latest one is, and it's remembering who you are. So the message from my guides most recently is this: finding and remembering who you are is one of the most important things you can do. If you focus on the physical, mental, and emotional aspects only, you do not have an accurate picture. When you remember, all of you, who you are, then you are unshakable in your peace, your equilibrium, and in your sense of presence here. You are creating your life here, as well as in other realms and forms of expression. No one knows the fullness of all that is divine source, the creator, because we are all coming into our remembrance of our shared divinity. As we do, the joy, wonder, and peace and deep love will fulfill all of your longings. Dreams will fade in the light and truth of what is. This cycle of expansion and remembrance is your gift from the Creator. Because of the great love that you are part of, the gift of creation is shared with you too. You create naturally every day. Your thoughts, feelings, and dreams help to create your world here and on other realms. We are moving toward an experience of not of I, but of we. The truth of the experience of oneness, or your shared connection with all forms of energy, will become more and more apparent. It is another form of remembering who you are. The world will be rising to welcome the vibrations of love, peace, and cooperation. All form will be a part of this and will contribute. Vibrations of love are present in the stones, the stars, the trees, oceans, and creatures of every size and shape. Those of you who open your hearts to receive will benefit far greater and faster than those whose choice is to turn away at this time. All are loved equally, and nothing is outside of love. For now, it is most helpful to put down your grievances, fears, and indecisions like heavy bags. Leave them and walk on in peace. You are never alone or unsupported. We join our hearts with yours as we all remember together.
So beautiful.
Always encouraging and so supportive of us on our journey. Thank you.
Do you want to share some of your thoughts about what you channeled, or?
Sure. Well, it always helps me to just come back to the basics of like that we're all divine, that we're all part of divinity, and that we're all shared in the same sacred space, and that we're all one. So we're not separated at all. We're just here to create, to love together. And this cooperation that they're talking about is exciting. I see it a lot when people are coming together more in ways to help each other and more ways to be uplifting and to be supportive rather than the old structures that are falling away of control, divisiveness, fear. That's falling away. So what's coming, and it's going to be a little bit messy for us personally in our world as we're seeing, but also at the same time, this new energy, this new bubbling up of love and cooperation and unity and for each other is just a beautiful thing to watch in small pieces and also in larger things that are coming together around the world. That's
Right.
exciting to me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think we're doing things different. I heard recently, this conversation about how we think, things have gotten way worse than they've ever gotten. And in truth, they've actually gotten better. It's been scarier and more violent and worse on our planet in the past. But because of our technology and everything, we all now see it. Where before, unless it was in your city or town, you didn't know about it, right? Now we know everything. And we're not hiding in the sands. I mean, before there was so much fear that nobody said or did anything against, kings and queens and whatever. And now we are coming together. We're not putting up with it. We're supporting one another. We're helping one another, and I think it's wonderful. And because of that, we're also seeing more of what we no longer want to put up with, no longer am going to put up with, and doing things differently. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's so true. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't mind, I'm going to share. I've listened a couple times because I love the messages. So what stood out for me in your channeled is knowing our value, right? Which is self-realization. Knowing that we are truly worthy just because we exist, just because we are who we are. That nothing outside of ourselves create our value, not other people, not the things we've done or not done, that we don't have to earn our value. We are valuable. We are worthy, and that there are so many layers to discover. And to just allow and know that Spirit shows us where we're letting others and events disown our value. And each lesson we're given the opportunity to see and discover our strength in finding the value within us. Letting go of the heavy bags of self-limiting beliefs, of our stories that told us and weighed us down in guilt, shame, and fear. An opportunity to get to deeply know ourselves, to know who we truly are. So no matter what people say or mistakes we think we've made, doesn't get to define us. When we truly know who we are, we define who we are. We learn and we move on. And as we give ourselves permission to truly be worthy of every dream possible without having to justify it, we give others the chance to discover and learn their true value. As we value our own self-worth, we create a greater love for ourselves and ripples out to everything else. When we can open our hearts and we can see the beauty in everything, in ourselves, in our environment, in everything, which causes more gratefulness, peaceful world to be a part of. What we focus on, we create. What we want, if we want a more peaceful life, we need to create peace within ourselves. And that doesn't mean spiritually bypassing it. It doesn't mean that we don't see the chaos around us, but we see it and we still remain calm. Just like the tree sees the storm coming, it still feels the leaves and the branches moving, but its core, its trunks, its roots remain strong. To know yourself at your core, you remain still in all the storms. So when you are focused on self-worth and something comes along to test that, it's not to make you doubt your self-worth. It's an opportunity to remember who you truly are.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Yeah, which, I think is an endless journey, right? Especially it is for me, right? I have recently become aware, or, this is the lesson that I'm working on at the moment, self-worth. And I can see back now all of the opportunities of self-worth, and where instead I went into doubt, shame, or guilt. And now lessons are coming back, and I'm realizing quicker as to what those lessons are, that they are the lesson, and giving me an opportunity to redefine redefine myself and to know my self-worth without having to earn it or justify it or prove it to anyone but myself.
So true. That's so true, because we've been taught and programmed that we have to earn it, that we have to do something, that we have to be good, that we have to achieve something or look a certain way or whatever it is. And we don't. There's nothing that's contingent on our self-worth. There's nothing that we have to do to earn it, or like you said, nothing. We're just loved and we are who we are, and we just have to remember that. We have to come back to the core, like you were talking about, our core being, and that's rooted in love, and it's just unchangeable and unshakable, right?
Right. Yes, 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 yes.
Mhm.
100%. And to allow that in. You know, it's
So
the bags you talk about, the bags that are weighing us down, making us feel heavy. And when we're holding on to the bags, we don't have room to let that stuff in. And, you know, we've been taught our whole lives that this is a valuable person, or this is what it means to be valuable, or this is what you have to do, or this is the person you have to be in order to be valuable. And now's the opportunity to change that, to know that you're valuable and you don't have to reach any standard except your own.
and we don't know anyone else's, you know, everyone has a story, everyone has their thing, they're doing their best, everyone's going through, but we don't know. We only know ourselves, and we only know that we can accept and the love that we have for ourselves. And like you said, make it come out like a ripple effect. I like that, because we're all connected. We're told that all the time, but it's so true. We feel each other's pain and love and joy. I heard I was listening to, I think it was Wisdom of the Council by Sarah Landon, and the message was that just radiate, radiate, just be still and radiate love and radiate joy, and it's going to be felt by millions of people. It's going to be felt. You don't have to do anything, just be there and just, radiate that out from your heart, and you have no idea the effects that that can have on other people, because we are connected.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the other things is, giving people permission to do theirs. It's seeing that you're not letting anything define you, and that being worthy and feeling worthy isn't selfish or egotistical, and releases that for other people to then find their own self-worth, minus all of those things we've been taught to stop us from finding our own self-worth.
And also that we are not just related to humans, that the channel was saying that this energy is in the stars and the stones and the trees. So we're a part of something much greater than just our human world and our human relationships. That connectedness is so much bigger. And I don't think we can even imagine it at the moment, but sometimes you can feel that. If you're in meditation, especially, you can feel it. Wow, how expansive it can be.
So I heard something recently on a channeled message. I listened to, both of us do, Lee Harrison a lot. And in his latest book, Conversation with the G's, which I highly recommend, he talks about energy being a conversation. It's about communication. Energy is communication. And we have support around us from so many different directions that we don't even know, that are here to love us and support us. And it's there to love and support us. Yeah, I kind of forgot where I was going with this conversation.
I love
Oh.
his
Yeah.
So the second book is The Conversation with Disease as well.
It is, and off the top of my head, there's a subtitle to it, and I'm not 100% sure. I will find out and I'll let you know. But any of his books, I recommend all of his books.
Yeah. And they're all, like I said, loving, supportive messages, just things that every time that you hear a message of love and truth, I think it's such a freeing message. It's also telling you, you don't berate yourself, but just shed those old stories and those old bags and just go forward and like trust, and like we're talking about the next perfect step, just take that step and trust that you're going to make it, that you're not alone, that you are supported 100%.
So I remember what I was going to say. I remember where the conversation was going now. So
Let's
it
go.
was about that I listened to a lot of these books, Lee Harrison's, Sarah's, a ton of these books, and some of it I can't wrap my human brain around. There's a part of me that completely understands what they're saying, but it can send me down a lot of rabbit holes because I just can't quite, the human brain can't quite grasp.
No.
And I know that it's an energetic, and that's where I was going with energy is communication. That's where I was going with it. Is that I can feel into the book. I know that what they're saying resonates with me. I can feel it, but yet I can't quite wrap my whole human brain around the concept. But I can feel it, and I know that it's working on some level within me. And I know that that's the energy of the book communicating with me, or the channel, or the message, or the person relaying it. And that's okay. And that I just have found myself to stop trying to figure it out and allow whatever's happening to be perfect, to allow whatever's happening to happen without resistance.
Yeah, I agree that an energetic message, and it works on levels that we cannot figure out with our brain, and we're not supposed to, because we get it wrong.
Right, exactly. But there's a part of me who wants to.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I want to figure it out.
Sure. We have to figure it out, or it doesn't make sense, and we have to make sense.
Right.
But it does make sense on a deeper level in our heart, in our soul, we know it does make sense and it resonates. That's why, you get, I don't know if sometimes you can feel it in your body when someone says something that's true, you can sort of feel goosebumps, or you just feel good. Sometimes you just go, yeah, that's right. That's, or you've heard it the day before and someone says it to you the next day, like a confirmation. And we get help all the time. We get signs, we get messages of encouragement all the time. And it's just a matter of kind of paying attention and not paying attention to right now, instead of our minds always flitting around going, oh, what are we going to do yesterday, today, tomorrow? It's just be here right now.
Yeah, so I'll share. This morning I was listening to Lee Carroll, who channels Cryon.
Mm-hmm.
And as he said something, I looked up to like really pay attention, because it was really something extremely interesting to me. And as I looked up, the clock said 10:10. And I thought, I really, really need to pay attention to what he's saying right now. Like, it was just that confirmation. Like, I think it was saying something like, just know that Cryon's aware of everybody who is listening. And right then it was like, bam, 10:10. And I was like, okay, I get it. Pay attention. It comes, those communications and the signs just come in all sorts of forms. But it made me feel good, that I was paying attention. And then here was the sign saying, yeah, we see you. We see you. And doesn't it feel good? Doesn't everybody in some form want to be seen? And I've become really good at realizing that it doesn't have to be from human eyes, that the love and support from the unseen feels incredibly loving
Yes.
and supportive. So yeah.
So being out in my garden, that's one place that I feel that love, and just in myriads of ways. I'll feel I'll feel the breeze come, and then like the leaves look like they're waving at you. It just feels like sweet, or
Yes.
like a little butterfly will come and kind of circle around you for a little while, and it's just those types of things make my heart just sing. I just love it.
Yes.
You know, just and then I've started going barefoot outside now that the ticks seem to not be so bad. but just feeling that energy come up from the earth, you know, being outside in the grass, and just being with my flowers and plants, just simple things like that. Really, they're simple, but you feel the love that's surrounding you, like you were
Yeah.
saying, from the unseen and from the earth, even just the energy from the earth coming up through your feet. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sun shining down in your hair and your head, and yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Fresh
To,
air.
to take that moment and be still and present
Mhm.
and see what opens up. Like you said, you know, the petals waving and to feel the earth underneath your feet. It's magical moments, but until you take even just one minute to be still and present, we have a tendency of missing them.
It can be wherever you are. It doesn't,
Oh yeah.
even if you don't have a garden, or you're not able to, wherever you are, whatever your situation, there's going to be ways where you'll you'll be communicated with and supported, and you'll have those signs in whatever way fits for you, right? Whatever way is best for you,
Absolutely.
your situation, whatever experiences you're having or you love to have. Just break through the fog sometimes. Yeah.
Perfect.
Always love talking with you, Lori.
Yes, you too. I just always smile. I can never stop smiling when we talk.
Because sometimes you don't have people that you can share things like this with you. So it's nice to have a community that we're hoping to resonate, you know, on the podcast, but we have that with each other and with Joan and other friends. And it's nice to be able to just talk about things that we're going through or that we're experiencing together.
Yeah,
That's
with no boundaries, maybe not boundaries is the right word, but no resistance at all, right? I can just talk to Laurie about anything. Even if I, you know, like we said, we read a lot of books. We've taken a lot of classes. We've gone down a lot of rabbit holes. Um, we listen to a lot of teachings. And even if we don't fully believe it, we are open enough to talk about it, to have a conversation. Doesn't mean that we're stuck there and we are like, this is it, this is it. Or even if I say, this sounds totally crazy, but I heard this and I want to have a conversation, right? And that's what our friendship has been about, is that open, no resistant conversation. And it's just a wonderful, beautiful thing to have somebody that isn't looking at you funny, like, really, that's what you believe? No, we know it's just a conversation. We don't know if we believe it yet or not, but we heard it. And wouldn't it be fascinating to talk and explore it? Like, somebody believes this. And what value does it bring? What expansion does it bring? And it's a conversation. And it's just wonderful to have an open conversation. And we hope that we give others the opportunity to have an open conversation and to have a community where they feel open to discuss anything without feeling the resistance or feeling judgment, right? That's something else. There's been no judgment because it's just a conversation. It doesn't, again, we'll go back to, it doesn't define who we are or what we believe. It's just a conversation.
an exploration.
an exploration, right? An adventure. Yeah, and we just have fun talking about it. And it doesn't define or mean something. It's a conversation with no resistance, which is just a beautiful thing. And thing that, for me, I don't get everywhere, right? So it's wonderful to have somebody to be able to do that with. And that's something I truly, truly value about our relationship.
Me too. And also calling you and going, this just happened. What happened? What do I do about this situation? Or trying to, so you're bouncing things off of you has been helpful too. Like I just want this experience. What was that all about?
And sometimes I know a lot of times, like I've called Laurie and been so wrapped up in the feeling, or I'm replaying a feeling from before, and Laurie can give me a newer or a different perspective to look at, which I'm like, oh, I didn't see it that way, or I didn't even think to see it that way. And it helps change my whole attitude, and feel better. And that's just beautiful.
That's right, because we're connected and we go through the same things. And you've done the same thing for me. You've got this other perspective, this sometimes a different higher wisdom. And I'm like, oh yeah, I hadn't looked at it that way. But that's what we like, with the podcast here, is just have you comment and share with what you're going through and what your questions are, and your thoughts and conversations and what your experiences are, because it's a community. We're excited to discover, other people that are excited about exploring and learning and talking and having conversations, like you said, Laurie. Having conversations. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think we'll end for today. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to our next episode.
Thanks so much for joining us. We
Have a
appreciate it.
beautiful day.